Hi, everybody. Sherry Leopold here, and I'm so excited to be with you today and share with you another person who we are celebrating as a WOW warrior for 2023. She is an extraordinary woman, and her name is Sue Coleman. Welcome, Sue.
Happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. So, this is such an incredible title to hold, the WOW Warrior 2023. It really is really highlighting women because we celebrate these women, including you, in Women's History Month. It really is a huge responsibility, I guess, if you will, to really show other women that they can stand up and stand out, and they can really write their own history. So I would love for you, Sue, to share a little bit about who you are and what you do with our audience.
Thanks, Sherry. Well, my name is Sue Coleman, and what I love to do is help women mostly who are networking, but having much success, or they don't know if they're fishing in the right pond, or just not having the success they want in their business. And I like to have strategy sessions with them, do a bit of coaching, and just share with them the different things I know about, the different tools, networking opportunities that I can share with them to help them move their business forward and create income. In a nutshell.
Who doesn't love that, right? So, Sue, I would love for you to share a little bit. What does it mean to be a WOW warrior? Because WOW for us really stands for Woman of Worth. What does Woman of Worth mean to you?
Wow, that is a loaded question. Yes. It's a heavy one. A woman of worth means that you're somebody who values what you do. You value the gifts you can give to others, whether it's sort of paid or just by being a good friend, a big supporter. It's just being authentically you and supporting other women in your life and what they're up to, and just being there, a warrior for other women, really, just to be their backup, to hold a shield, to just really build them up and help them get where they want to go.
I love that. Thank you. That 100%, that I'm like over here cheering.
Yeah.
As that woman of worth who is making history today, which is what this WOW Warrior 2023 is really all about, is that you're writing your own history. You're writing your own story. You're in charge of you, and you are inspiring other women with your journey. Can you share with us a little bit about what you are doing to write your own story, to really make your mark in the world today?
Well, it's taken me a while. I've tried a number of different things, from being a realtor years ago for 26 years, and just to now where, at 69, I'm finally growing up and figuring out what I want to do. And that is, I really want to be there for others. I want to help others. There's so many things that we as women especially can be doing, but I think women entrepreneurs need to be lifted up, need to be helped. And that's where my passion is right now, is helping other women really find who they are and move their business forward. And, oh gosh, this is such a loaded question, Sherry.
But it's such a powerful thing. And that is truly what you're doing every day in what you do. So given what you just said, are there women in your life or women you've had in the past that have been your inspiration for what you just said, like that you look up to, whether they're related to you, whether they're, people you grew up with, whether they were people that you learned about in books or famous people? It doesn't matter. There's no parameter there. Just what woman has inspired you to really lean into your own greatness?
That's again a loaded question. Goodness. Um,
I like to ask the hard one.
I know it's well, I think my mother. She was a single mom with 3 kids, and she really just she was always there for us, even though she had to work full time and what have you. So I think that really was important to me. I was very blessed to be able to have a stay-at-home mom, even though she wasn't staying at home all the time because she was having to work. But I felt her presence was there all the time. I would say that that was probably my biggest sort of role model. She really did everything she could to help us and also other people in her life. She was always there for. So,
I see that. I hear that recurring theme of helping. So I want to ask you, as a woman, what do you feel your biggest challenge has been in business and really like leaning into your own power? What has been your biggest personal challenge?
Well, for me, it's really stepping into who I am, who I was meant to be. I've always been trying to be, some what other people expected me to be or do. And it was just been wonderful to suddenly have that moment of this is who I am called to be. This is who, I've spent all my life becoming. So I don't know whether that makes sense because that's how I feel. It's like I finally landed. It's taken me a lot of years.
I love that actually, because I think it sounds like what I'm hearing is just a sense of finally of complete freedom to be who you are.
Yeah, I just sort of, it was just fairly recent that I just suddenly went, wow, that
There's
this
that
is who
word.
I'm meant to be.
Wow.
Perfect word. But it really is. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is who I am. This is what makes my heart sing. This is what makes me sit behind the Zoom screen talking to a load of people but making a difference. And it's just, yeah, it really has been a sort of a real aha, especially lately.
So with that being said, I think it kind of leads to my next question for you, which is what piece of advice would you give a woman who is currently working to build herself up or build her business and she's struggling? What piece of advice would you give her from your years of experience that you could lend to her?
Well, number one, to keep going, but also take baby steps. A time in my life, I used to think I needed to know exactly what every step was and where I was going, who I was going to be, everything. And what I've really learned is really you just need to see the next step. Just move yourself forward to your dream. You know what the big dream is, but you just need that next step. You don't need to see the whole staircase, I was told. And I thought that really resonated was just take the next step, and just move yourself forward.
And I love that. Don't give up. And there doesn't have to be leaps and bounds that you can, part of the joy is in the journey, right? And taking those baby steps. So,
Yeah. And do what you can now. I mean, it's just, wherever different time in your life you are, you may have other obligations, but do what you can to feed that dream, to move, to make your heart sing. Just move a little bit at a time. It'll, step at a time, you'll get there.
absolutely. And as you are developing out all those amazing things that you are doing, as we spoke about before, writing your own history, creating, really in designing the life that I always say, love to live and live to love and love to live, that life that is so meaningful to you. What advice would you give, or what would I want to ask you, what would somebody say about you 100 years from now, you're no longer here, but what are they going to say about Sue Coleman when you're long gone that you stood for? What's your legacy? What is it that Sue Coleman is leaving for the people of 100 years from now?
You're probably going to say that crazy broad. Well, I think they're going to say I made a difference, that I helped people wherever I could, and that I made a difference. I made a difference in the lives of the people I touched, whether it be for business or social or my family. That is the biggest thing for me, is to make sure I make a difference in anybody whose lives I touch, whether it be because I listen to them or because I help them with business. But that's what I would hope people would be saying 100 years from now, apart from all that crazy one. So
I think that might be why they remember you being the crazy one, right? And I think it's perfectly okay. So that's really, I think, an example of a true wow warrior is a woman who knows her worth, knows her value, stands up and stands out as that unrepeatable miracle that she is, and leaves the legacy that people will never forget who you are based on the fact that you touched their life and left that Sue Coleman imprint, if you will. So that is so cool. And I absolutely love that. I do want to ask you now, people may have been very inspired, as well they should, by what you're sharing and what you're doing, and kind of might be thinking, I just want to be like Sue. So how can people watching get in touch with you, Sue?
well, of course, they can reach me through my website. That's the perfect way to do it. Or by email, Sue at meetsuecoleman.com. I'll get it straight.
That's all right. And you can always visit meetsuecoleman.com to learn more about the things that Sue is doing in the world. And as that site will be continuing to build and more offerings. And you can also connect with her on some of her networking meetings as well, which you can find at that site as well. Is that correct, Sue?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I'd love to have you at some of my networking meetings. Come and have fun.
Yes, and meet great people like
Oh,
Sue.
absolutely.
That's what she attracts, is great people. So, do you have, I just want to ask before we close, do you have any a mantra or a favorite quote or something that just really resonates with you, that's been something that you've always just sort of held on to? An anchor, I guess maybe we'll say that.
Well, one person I've always admired in business was Richard Branson, or is Richard Branson. And many times when I've been faced with a new opportunity, I remember what he said: if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, say yes and then figure it out. And I just keep that as my sort of in the back of my head. Everything is figure outable. So that.
And that's Marie Forleo.
Yeah, was it? I can remember who that one is. But Richard
Yeah.
Branson, I mean, that's what I have pinned on my board. And also, he says, if you're in business and not making a difference in people's lives, you shouldn't be in business. And I think those are both really good mantras for me anyway. So
I love that. And I think those are fabulous things to live by, and really good anchors, as I like to call them, for us as we are, really creating that life we love, right? So I just want to say thank you so much, Sue Coleman. We celebrate you as one of the Wow Warriors for 2023. I know people are going to want to get to know you, so they can either email you at sue@meetsuecoleman.com, or they can go visit meetsuecoleman.com. Thank you so much, and really congratulations. And we celebrate you, Wow Warrior 2023.
thanks so much, Sherry, and thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.